Okay, namaste everyone and good evening.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to the last day, the day 4 of this karma workshop. So we have already gone through the types of karma and then the different laws of karma. And today it's going to be the reasons why a karma bondage is formed. There are a few reasons that we can ponder on later on. So if you want to write them, you can. And we will discuss surrender after that, what it means and how it should be understood. Okay. All right. So the reasons that create karmic bonds tell us how easily we can get tied up and how we can, these are the steps that we can take, how to liberate ourselves. Okay. So the first one is attachment, the first and the foremost. Attachment, a word that we use very, very commonly, but it has grave side effects. Attachment could be the first attachment that a human being has is towards his or her body. And that's the reason we start considering ourselves the body, the name that body has. Forgotten who we are in reality because of the attachment. We have been taking so many births, multiple births, and we have always been in different bodies. And due to that, because of having bodies again and again, we have formed attachment. The soul forms an attachment to the body. An attachment naturally develops, right? Anything with whichever thing is with you for these many years, you tend to get close to that thing and you tend to make that thing a part of your life. So when we are living on an average, let's say 80 years in one birth, this is just an estimate, a soul gets attached to the body and doesn't want to leave it and begins to identify itself as body. So attachment has very deep roots. Not to tolerate a pain is another sign and another reason of attachment. Sometimes we are, a very, very simple example. If we go to a hospital, some people have a huge fear of taking needles, right? Injections. They don't want to go through the pain. Now, if we consider this in a spiritual way, only the body is getting that prick of the needle, not the soul who is sitting inside the body. But since the soul is attached and thinks that I am this body, it is letting the mind cause that suffering that, oh, I am going to feel the pain, so I don't want this needle. So that is a very subtle form of attachment. So we can start thinking on this, like what are the things I'm attached to every day in my everyday life, right? And then once we realize the things, situations, the places or people we are attached to, then we can start working on that. Okay. Now, let's say I'm attached to this pen, right? And I don't realize what attachment is, but I just like how the ink of this pen flows. Now, once the ink runs out, because of my attachment to this quality of the pen, I will want to buy the same kind of pen again, right? And this attachment of mine can also, it can just turn me crazy only to get this pen. And somehow this pen is out of stock in that store. I'm going to waste my time and go to another store to find the same company's pen, right? If not there, then somewhere else, maybe Amazon, maybe wherever. But that is what attachment does. And now If I know this rule, the reason that this is just an attachment, there are other pens available in the market, much better, I will learn to adjust and accept. Accept that this pen is now no longer being manufactured or out of stock. Then I can look for something else. Maybe I'll get something better than this, right? So this is a very simple day-to-day example. And there would be so many things that if you just sit and ponder over this, there would be so many things that we all might be attached to, or little things of daily life. And these little things, these little attachments then enter the subconscious mind. And once a pattern of the soul enters the subconscious mind, it becomes a habit. So habits are formed when a certain kind of pattern is repeated and it enters the subconscious mind, right? And is not taken care of. So that's how attachment can become a habit too. Now, let's take another example. Maybe an attachment is not only for a bad reason, it could be also for a good reason. It could be a good and bad attachment too. For example, let's say a philanthropist or a person who is very generous and does a lot of charity and all that stuff. That person could be attached to his work too. He could be attached to this idea that I am a philanthropist. I need to be recognized, right? So I am very altruistic. I go here, I donate here, I donate here. That, and he could be attached to this thought too. Even though he's doing he's thinking of the welfare of others, but on the other side, he has this attachment following his humanitarian work. So,
Sorry, but
yeah.
don't we need those kind of people who are attached to being altruistic? Isn't that important for the well-being of the planet and of other human beings?
Yes, it is. But we are going to come, when we move later in surrender, you will understand this. But yes, you are right. We do need such people. But why I picked up this example was that there is a motive behind being altruistic,
Mm.
motive of getting recognized. One is being generous, being um, taking steps for welfare of people around without any motive.
Mm.
That is, and one is with motive, motive of being recognized, motive of, okay, let's take a picture, I'm donating and you take a picture, right? And we put it on social media. If we don't have a motive, then it doesn't matter whether how many pictures are being taken or not, right? So that's what I wanted to explain. But yes, we do need such people. But like we discussed yesterday, the intention behind the karma is all that matters.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Okay, that was attachment, and attachment is directly proportional to bondage. The higher the attachment, the higher will be your karmic bondage with that work, with that activity, with that person, or with that thing. It is directly proportional to it. The second one is expectations. Expectation of happiness, expecting praise, recognition, expecting attention, acknowledgement from others. Sometimes it's like, I did this for you, now in return, you do this for me. That is an expectation, right? And then sometimes it's like, I'm sick. Now people should call me to find out. right? How I'm feeling. Or they should visit me and ask me the entire story so I can narrate it to them how I got sick, right? And they shouldn't then come and sympathize with me because I'm sick. So that is a very general form of expectation. And if somebody doesn't do this, I'm not going to talk to her now, right?
Mm.
Her or him. So that is the level of expectation we can have. And expectations is something that can lead to anger and frustration. Attachment can lead to fear because attachment is mine, and then the fear of losing that mine, that thing or a person can lead to fear. So we can constantly, the person can constantly keep living in fear. There will be undercurrents of fear always where there is attachment, right? Fear of losing. So that was expectation. And the next one, ignorance. Ignorance is another reason for karmic bondage because ignorance means impulsive actions, right? Reactions.
Mm.
The person is first acting or moving into an action and then regretting, why did I do that? Right? So it is acting without thinking, and that comes with due to ignorance. Now, the next one is unrestrained actions, actions that are not controlled and they are not specified as per need. It could be due to restlessness, it could be due to anxiety, getting things done in hurry or haste. So such karmas or such actions always create a bond because mistakes are bound to happen. Once you are under that mindset of restlessness, cannot restrain yourself, and there are some little experiments that we can try in our daily lives to restrain our mind and the actions. It's like self check. One is self check. So you keep checking yourself throughout the day. Let's say after every hour, you have the time, you have the a reminder on your calendar that after every hour, wherever you are, unless you are driving, that's something else. But every hour, you just stop, absolutely stop. Wherever you are, standing, sitting, in a grocery store, it doesn't matter. So it stop and just look at yourself. How was the past hour?
Mm.
What did I do in the past hour? How was I? What were my actions like? Right? So review yourself for the past hour, and then this is going to clear out any inner traffic jam that you might have in the mind. So that way there will be a sign of alertness always, because in the next hour again you are going to completely stop everything, all activity, all the fluctuations in the mind, and just stop completely just for a minute or few seconds and review yourself. What happened in the past hour? What good? What went wrong? Things like that. That you can keep a scale for yourself too, like measure yourself every hour. And then another experiment could be you stop completely when you feel the need or the urge to speak up if you are not asked for speaking up. We all
Mm.
have that urges sometimes, right? We just want to join the conversation and we want to speak. So just stop, refrain from speaking up unnecessarily. That's another way You can restrain yourself and watch your feelings when you're talking to someone, or when you're in a crowd, or maybe at a party. Keep watching your feelings. If you see your anger rising, just watch it. And once you watch the mind, it is going to turn backwards. It will stop because it knows somebody is watching me.
Mm.
The mind becomes active only when it notices I am not being watched. Okay, when the soul is not paying attention, the mind is ruling the soul.
Mm.
Okay, so it can go unrestrained. So just watch, keep watching yourself. Just stop completely after every hour, only 30 seconds or 1 minute, and audit yourself for the past hour. That way, we can bring a lot of restraint in our thoughts, in our words and actions. All right, the next one is habits. So, again, it was just mentioned, any kind of pattern that enters the subconscious mind becomes a habit. A habit is something that is happening without any effort. It keeps happening because it has become a habit now. It must have started from somewhere, but it must have gone unnoticed. It was not caught by me. And then I kept repeating it without any awareness. And it has been repeated so many times that now I'm used to it, and now it's a habit.
Mm.
And now my mind is going to keep repeating it even if I don't realize it. That's the that's the definition of habit, something that keeps happening without any effort. You don't have to make any special effort to for a habit. And when we are bound to habits, it could be a good habit too.
Mhm.
You see, the karmic bond doesn't see good and bad, right? When we are talking about karma, it's both types of karma, good and bad. So it's not only bad. So habits could be a good habit too, and you are completely attached to it, and it's happening again and again, and you don't want it's happening so much that it's a part of your nature now,
Mm.
and you cannot accept anything else beside it. So that forms a bond too, right? And how can we get rid of this? You have to unlearn that habit. First, we realize that yes, I do have this habit, whether it's good or bad, and then you unlearn it and learn a new one. By unlearning, we always make space for a new one to enter. If we don't unlearn it, then there is already the space is already filled up by this habit, and it is more mature than the new one. So it's going to be a real battle for the soul to form a new habit. So we do have to forcefully unlearn and then learn a new one. And the best way to unlearn is stop paying attention to your habit and start paying attention to the one that you want to develop.
Mm.
So when you're not paying attention to anything, it is going to wither away on its own. So there is no battle required here, right?
May I ask a question, Rupa?
Sure.
So, if we unlearn the old one and we're learning the new one, won't we get into the same cycle again with the new one? The new one will eventually become the old one at some.
Yeah, it will. But here we are talking about habits that are harmful. And if we are talking about habits that are good, once I realize that this is a habit and I'm going to replace it with something else, by that time, I will know that I'm not going to get into habit with the new one too,
Mm.
right? Because by that time, the mind would have will be conditioned in a different way. The first habit, I don't even know that it is, even though it's a good habit, I don't realize that this is a habit, because you see, the bottom line is, who has the habit?
Mm.
Tell me. This is a question to you.
Mm.
Me, like the body?
The body has a habit, or the one sitting inside the body? Think about it and tell me.
So I'm
Mm.
just thinking of my habit. Like I have this habit of having tea in the morning. I know
Okay.
it's not good for me, but I just need it. Like I feel like my body needs the tea, the cup of tea to wake myself up, and I know I want to get out of it, but I don't know what to replace it with.
You just said, I know my body is used to having tea in the morning. This
Hmm.
was your statement?
Yeah.
So I know my body.
Mm.
Mm.
So who has the habit?
The body,
Hmm?
Mm.
I have it. Like the mind is telling the body
The
that I.
soul sitting inside the body, whose name is Sarika,
Mhm.
the habit.
Right.
When the soul leaves the body, this body will not ask for tea.
Mm.
So the one sitting inside needs the tea,
Right.
right? So we have to, if there are habits, it is because I'm going to take it on me now. So I have this habit of drinking tea. I cannot just get out of the bed in the morning. Okay. Now, I have been doing this since I was a teenager. And now I think this is how I'm going to live. I have been living like this, and this is the way of life for me. Now, suddenly I realize that this is a habit and I'm dependent on it. Now, the bottom line is, the soul is ever free. And when we say soul is free, means it is not dependent on anything. So
Mhm.
when we talk about attachment, why is it one of the first reason for a karmic bondage? Because it is dependence. So the soul is already attached to the body. So it is depending on the body, and it has started thinking, I am Rupa.
Mhm.
But Rupa is name of the body. Soul doesn't have a name,
Mm.
right? So now this Rupa body, the soul inside Rupa's body has developed the habit of drinking tea first thing in the morning. And now suddenly realizes, after some spiritual lessons, suddenly realizes this is a habit. So my dependence on this is weakening me.
Mm.
It is taking my power away, right? Because if I don't get tea, I'm I'm foggy.
Yeah.
I can think clear. So that is a form of dependence,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's just like a drug addict. So I am addicted to tea. I cannot think clearly without a cup of tea in the morning. So that is pure dependence. And this is taking my power away as a soul.
Hmm.
So that's why I have to come out of this. Now, by the time I really make an effort to come out of this habit. The next thing, I start drinking water in the morning, hot water. Now I give up tea and I start drinking water first thing in the morning. But at the same time, I will keep this in mind, because when I realized about the tea, a part of my power came back because I made an effort to give it up. Years of habit, I gave it up in few months. Now I feel a little stronger. I can deal with it, right?
Right.
So I will be very alert next time, even if I don't get water. I will have that inkling to say, that's fine. I'll wait another hour.
Hmm.
That is the power of the soul. And imagine doing this with everything that you realize. Because the nature of the soul is ever free. It is when it comes in contact with the body, that's when the bondages begin to happen. When we take birth, right? That's when everything begins to happen. And that's how down the ages of the world cycle, there are like 4 major ages: golden, silver, copper, and iron age. So as the soul moves down the 4 ages, taking multiple births, it goes through various experiences of different kinds because it is taking birth in different kinds of environment. So it is coming across various experiences, ups and downs, pains and sufferings due to its doings. And that makes it lose its power. That makes it forget who it actually is. And being dependent on tea is another experience that me, the soul, is having in this lifetime. So this brought me down. Then I realized, and then I corrected. And like we said in one of the lessons, that once we let go of the attachment, now this is my attachment to the tea. It is my dependency to the tea, right?
Yeah.
Once we let go the attachments, then we become free. And free is the nature of the soul. So once we are in our own nature, we are already powerful.
Yeah,
right?
makes sense.
Yeah. So it is just like you have a bad experience, and when you have it again, you are able to face it in a better way. It's just that.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question from anyone? Yes, John.
I have a habit. I created a habit a couple of years ago of praying first thing in the morning and at night. And I find that my soul needs that. That's my thinking. So what do I do with that?
Nothing. What's
Okay.
wrong?
I don't know. We're talking about habits, so good
Yeah.
habits are okay. To me, that's a good habit because it starts my day on a good foot. I read spirituals and I make my prayers and I do the same at night, and that's okay.
And what happens one day, John, if you are not able to complete your ritual in the
I
morning?
do it later on. I do it later on. So if it's not in the morning, I do it at night. But usually I try morning and night.
So you don't go like, I can start my day today.
No.
Yeah, so there you are. That is adjusting and accepting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are not attached to your actions, right? You can adjust. Okay, that's fine. Maybe in the car I'll recite my prayer. So maybe I couldn't do it today, that's fine, right? I'll do it in the evening or in the afternoon. So that is adjusting and non-attachment. It's just a sign of non-attachment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to the next one, being careless. So when you're lazy and you're careless, 2 things happen. One, you increase your weight. And secondly, you increase the weight of the earth by not doing enough, right? So, so karmic bondage is for sure because you're not doing anything. You have a life. You have been given a human life, a good life, body, and everything, and you're not making use of it. We are all here for a purpose, not for just sitting around. So that's a straight away karmic bondage. All right, intense passion is the next one. Intense passion, any passion to a person. Passion could be intense greed also. That is a passion too. Greedy for everything. Again, it is one of the reasons for karmic bondage because when anything is intense, the clarity is gone, right? The universe works in balance. Everything needs to be in balance. The nature is balanced. Sun rises on its own and sets on its own. Nobody is telling the sun to, okay, now you come out and now you go back. So how is this happening? Because it's all about balance in the universe, right? The key to everything, whether it's a human life, whether it's the ecosystem, whether it's the nature, the how the planets are moving. They don't crash into each other.
Mm.
Who decides the path? Which planet is going where? It's all about balance. Yeah. Okay. So everything has to be moderate, not less nor more. So intense passion, any action done under this intense passion goes out of control. It could be anything. So another one is selfishness. Selfishness is, again, creates bondage because it is being self-centered only for specific reasons, only for specific people, and there is nothing called selflessness. So it's only for me. So there is a big I involved there. I, and that I is a big form of attachment too, which creates selfishness. Yeah. Then we have negativity. We all know that wherever there is negativity, there cannot be positivity and there cannot be any sense or direction, right? So see, negativity is something that works very, very naturally. It comes naturally. You don't have to develop it. And the irony is that we have to make so much effort for being positive, right? Affirmations, attention on our actions, words, and reminding ourselves, I have to be positive. But we don't realize that we never have to make ourselves aware that I have to be negative. It just happens natural.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around. Okay, fear, it's a byproduct of attachment. That's another reason for karmic bondage. It is where there is attachment, there is always fear, always. Attachment to my car, I will always be fearing, oh, somebody might scratch it. So let me park in a place where, you know, away from other cars. So that is a fear. Always fearful, right? Somebody might scratch it or put a dent on it. So byproduct of attachment is fear. And desire. Desire is similar to expectation. And desire of results of your actions, right? And then desire, I don't have desire. Saying this is also a desire. I don't want to keep a desire is also a desire, right? And then showing off, glorifying your actions, demonstrating, boasting, that creates a lot of karmic accounts with people, flaunting what you have. So all these reasons, we are not looking at these reasons bodily wise. We are looking at the nature of the soul and then looking at these reasons. Only then they will make sense. If we are trying to understand this as we are sitting in a body right now, we will say, oh, we already know this, right? But we need to understand, like I was talking to Sarika, we need to understand the nature of the soul is such that these things bind the soul. And we are our focus is the soul, not the body, because body is useless without the presence of soul, right? So we are here to, the karmic accounts pertains to the soul, not to the body. So all these things that we have talked about for the last 3 days and today is in reference to the soul, not the body. Okay, so think of it as a soul. And a soul by nature is free, is very light, is powerful. These are the virtues of soul. Every soul has the same virtues, regardless of who the person is, who the human being is, or where he or she resides or is born, or culture, doesn't matter. All souls have the same virtues. The difference begins when the soul takes birth. And that's when the differentiation begins. The kind of body, the family background, the cultural background, the countries, all that stuff begins only after birth. Before that, all souls are the same, right? So a soul is powerful by nature. A soul is peaceful by nature, always happy, no desires, no expectations, nothing, right? It's knowledgeable. It knows who it is until it enters a body. And that's when it has to struggle to remind itself who it is. Before that, it is all knowledgeable. And now you might ask me that, like, doesn't make sense to me, Rupa. Why are you saying all this and how do you know? Because this is how the drama is constructed. The world drama is just this. There is one creator, director of this world drama, only one. We have given him different names as per our cultural backgrounds, as per our religions. He doesn't have a religion, he's just one. And now, when we take birth, this and come on this world stage, now this drama is repetitive. It keeps repeating itself in the same manner unless we use a free will and try to change that moment, right? And then it is powerful. Powerful in the sense that it can take care of itself, no weaknesses, no attractions, no distractions. So it is full, doesn't need anyone, not dependent. So it is powerful. And then it is peaceful, powerful, it is always happy. It has the knowledge of who it is. And it is blissful. Blissful means constant happiness, not conditional happiness, forever happy. So these are some of the qualities of soul. So when we are talking about karma, it is not about the body, it is about the soul. So always look at the innate qualities of the soul and then try to understand. We all have these qualities. That's why when we are looking for all this. How do we know we want to be peaceful? Because that is one of our qualities.
Yeah.
That's why we look for peace all the time. Right? All right. We are going to surrender. Surrender. Surrender typically means, literal meaning is to give over control to someone, right? Now, give your power or yield the power to someone. It could be yield yourself, give your control or your possessions to someone. That is called surrender. Now, surrender could be two kinds. It could be by choice. It could be under compulsion. Compulsion example could be in an event of wars. One side surrenders to the other, right? That is a compulsion because they have lost. So we are talking about by choice. So surrendering by choice. I was reading about this in Bible. It is mentioned, and I was very surprised to see that Bible, and I was looking at how what Islam has to say about this too. So they all have the same everything. It's written the same thing everywhere. So Bible says wholeheartedly when you give control, give away your control to something, right? So it says you are giving your will to somebody else, to the higher self, to the divine. So I'm going to, I wrote that down. So I'm going to just read that for you. It's a wholehearted yield and give away your control and desires to the authority, which is one, right? Authority is the will of God. So, with the trust in His sovereignty and His perfect plan. So, you have to trust the sovereignty of Him and that His plans are always perfect. And then you just give away your control to Him. That is surrender from Bible. Now, Islam has to say about this is to rely, to trust in God's wisdom and accept the trials and tribulations of your life. Again, it means the same. It has the same meaning. And now Bhagavad Gita has everything similar to what it has been said in Bible and in Islam. And what we are going to discuss now is coming from there. So it is surrender is non-physical and it is invisible, which means it is not surrendering of your wealth, of your property, of your car and house, even of your body. It is non-physical and it is invisible. It is not the worldly possessions. It is giving up the ownership of your actions completely. You don't own, even if it is a bad action, you are going to regret it and you are going to give it away. If it is a good action, anything that is maybe a generous action, you are going to complete the action and give it away. And when you give it away, it is no longer yours. And that is surrender. You cannot then afterwards keep talking about it. You have given it away, it is no longer yours. So we don't have the right even to think about it then. That is complete surrender. Because we trust His plan, and I am trusting that He will take good care of my actions, whether good or bad. So I trust Him and I know He is the only one, and I completely give my control, my life's control. Now, a question can arise here, then it means I'm not thinking, right? Am I not using my brain, what is right and what is wrong? Then why should I give control to somebody? First, yeah, that question can arise. Then what are we doing with our lives if we have to give control to the divine? What could be the answer? Tell me. Anyone?
Well, He has given us free will to make choices with the mind that He has given us.
That's right. Yes.
So even though we have to surrender to them, we have to still try to make the best choices in our lives. because that's part of what he has given us is the need to do what's right in life.
Okay, that's good. Free will. Using the free will, I will just stick to this. If I am surrendering my every action at the end of the day to the divine, because I trust him more than I trust myself or anybody else on this earth, right? So that trust is going to bring a surrender. And I am using my free will here. That is a big time use of my free will, right, Martha? So every time I surrender, I use my free will because I know it is going to bring me good action, bring me good results without expectation. Because I have trust, I have faith, I'm going to surrender, and I know it is in good hands. And now, when I surrender genuinely, everything, and I don't think about it and I don't talk about it because it is no longer mine. Now, the law of karma, instead of the law of karma, law of grace steps in. We were talking about law of grace yesterday, and I asked you to hold it on until today. So this was the reason, because we didn't talk about surrender yesterday. So law of karma will become negligible, and whatever I do, because I'm surrendering to the highest sovereignty, I will be not in a karmic bondage of that action.
So sometimes if we think we're doing the best for a certain goal, say, or a certain path in our lives, but it doesn't materialize, then surrendering is, even though we had the free will to direct ourselves this way, our the divine intervention is when we surrender to whatever the outcome is, because it is not maybe what we wanted or hoped for, but we surrendered to the belief that whatever happens is for long term, the path that is supposed to be for us.
We surrender because we know the law of karma. We know every action will bring something back. So another reason to surrender, the first reason is trust. We know that who am I and who is my boss, my father, the universal father, right? Second, I know the law of karma. It is applicable on this earth equally for everyone. Third, if I am not understanding the value of surrender, I will eventually get caught up in my actions. I will, because I'm a human being, right? So when I get caught up in my actions, there could be ego developing eventually. I could misuse my my qualifications, my talents that I'm surrendering. See, I'm going to explain this with an example. Let's say a very, very famous soccer player. He has amazing talent, right? And he knows he's very, very talented. Now, he is going to take charge of himself. He say, it is due to my practice. I sacrificed a lot. I practice a lot. I gave up this. And eventually, over the years, that ego will solidify in him. I am a soccer player. I am famous. But what he's forgetting is his skills, this talent has been given to him to be used in a better way, right?
Yes.
So here surrender comes in. When the player knows the law of surrender, he will still be the soccer player. He will still have the same set of skills, but he will not own his skills. He is going to surrender that it is coming from somewhere. I am blessed that I have these skills and I'm going to make use of them for myself to be a better player and for others. Maybe teach poor kids, right? Maybe teach them free,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
This is how surrender works. And it is not physical. Because see, that God is incorporeal. Incorporeal means bodiless.
Mm.
Even the souls, we are also incorporeal. We don't have a body until we are born. The only difference between him and us is that we come in the cycle of birth and death. He doesn't. So that's why he's supreme. Okay? So now he is incorporeal. He doesn't need our possessions.
Mhm.
But yes, does need um, he does need the trust, that we trust him, and whatever he has blessed us with, we are giving it back to him so he can give it back to us multifold. He doesn't keep anything on himself, right? So that is the bottom line. That is the crux of surrendering. Surrendering will make us humble, and it will always help us to realize who we are. So the ego will never set in a person who knows this art of surrendering. And surrendering could be every moment. It is a form of gratitude that I have it from you and I'm giving it back to you. I'm doing it for you. So the soccer player is going to surrender in the sense, I'm playing for you. So give me strength, give me more skills to do better so I can do something better with this. That is surrendering. So I am doing this for you. This is for you. So as per Bhagavad Gita, every moment, whatever you do it, keep me in your mind and do that action. And that action becomes divine. It is free of the law of karma, it's free of the bondage, and the law of grace applies in that action because there is divine intervention. So we have covered all these three things that we discussed yesterday. Everything is related to surrender. So we talked about law of karma, then law of grace and divine intervention, how we can turn the karmic bondage around. So when we surrender, we know we are doing it for him. And now this in general about human nature.
Mhm.
So now surrendering brings humility. Surrendering doesn't mean that you just sit back and surrender, surrender, surrender. No, it is just we are trying to understand surrender from spiritual point of view. That's all, right? It means just trusting that one divine power and then trusting because he is the one and I am a bundle of mistakes. Because I am in a physical body, right?
Yeah.
I'm in an actor in this drama, and I am in the bondage of karmic cycle. And if I want a better life, I need to dissolve my karmas. For that, there is only one way, right? When we have a problem, when a professor has a problem, he will go to the dean. When a student has a problem, he will go to the professor, right? And then the professor is not paying attention to the student will go to the dean because he's the highest, right?
Yeah.
For us, who is the highest? And then we give our actions to them. Why? So we don't get too egoistic, because being egoistic will again bring us further into karmic bondage, because then all our actions will be affected by ego. So in order to avoid the vices, we can, it is optional, we can surrender.
Right.
This
So
is,
if it's optional, because I'm struggling with free will and surrender. So we know that God, I believe, and we've talked about this, that God gave us free will and said, okay, I've given you this gift, this incredible gift. And if you understand what that is, then you will do your best, because we're flawed beings, right? We've talked about that, but free will allows us to make choices. So how does that, so you just said we don't always need to surrender. I think that's what you said. So how does surrender and free will, how do those connect? Because sometimes we might make a decision with our free will that isn't necessarily about surrendering. It's about making a choice that we think is the best and the most gracious and humble and positive, whatever the qualities are that we're trying to make our decision with, that we can make.
yes. A person who is not aware of free will or doesn't want to use a free will
Right.
can never, may not even have a good karmic account. Right? Bound to make more mistakes. Do we agree with that, all of us?
Yes.
Okay. So now free will is making good choices at the right time, but still we don't own that action.
I see. Yeah.
So we have to give it away.
Oh.
But what good did I do? I used the free will and I avoided going the wrong way. So that adds to my account. And on top of that, I gave away the ownership that I did this good action. So I'm staying away from the I part, which is the egoistic part. So double account. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. That clarifies it a bit more.
So surrender has a spiritual concept of trusteeship. Trusteeship. Surrender means, the easy way to do this is to, we all know what trustee means. Yeah. Trustee means you have the power, you have the resources, but you don't own them. So if we bring that concept of trusteeship in our lives, we will always be able to use what we have, use the free will also, and able to use all the, enjoy everything. And still at the back of the mind, we know we don't own this. So there was this statement that I read long time ago in a book, and that is so much related to this trustee. Being a trustee is, everything is for me, nothing is mine. Right? So that explains everything. Whatever you have it, you enjoy it, but still it is not yours. And we need to remember that. When we forget that, that's when we start owning it, and that I steps in. I is ego, and ego is always dividing. It always divides. That's the nature of ego.
We like to believe everything is mine.
Absolutely. That's where things go wrong. All right. So whatever we do with the sense of surrender or trusteeship, that action becomes divine. And then the law of grace applies to it because we have given up the ownership of it. And now there is divine intervention and nothing can go wrong. Right? This is what he says. Once you involve me in your actions, I will take care. Right? That's the surrender part. Tara, are you there?
Yes, Rupa, I'm here.
I'm following up with your question, yesterday's question, because
Yes,
about how to be ever free of karmic cycle.
yes,
Yeah, I asked you to hold on to it until today. So I already explained the part of it that a soul, the role of the soul is it's never born, it never dies, it could be never damaged or destroyed. It's forever free, right? But how this drama is created is in such a way that there is a creator director who is one, and he is sitting and observing everything. He doesn't do much. He just sits and observe, right? He sits and observe all the actors, us, play their parts. And then this drama is the cycle of karma, because this is all it is. It's action, action, action. Talking is action. I'm moving my hand. This is action. I am blinking my eyes. How many times during a day? That is action too, right? So once we are in body, we cannot live without action. So we can never come out of karma, of this drama, because like I said, if you go by the definition of the soul, it can never be destroyed. So if, let us say, a soul comes out of the karmic cycle or this drama, which means it has to come out of the body, which means it loses its existence. And that is absolutely contradictory to the definition of soul. A soul is never born or destroyed or damaged. And then what will a soul do? And then the entire drama becomes useless. There should be no drama then. There should be no earth, the stage. Right? Do we understand?
yes, yes. So in a kind of a way, we say karma is a never-ending chain of cause and effect, right?
Yeah. But we can better that by using free will
Yes,
and surrender, since we have already talked about it.
yes, correct.
And that can change the course of our lives.
Yeah.
For the entire cycle.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any questions?
Can I just say too that what I was taught, as a Christian was that similarly to what I think you said, is that God says, surrender to me and I will take care of you because I have a plan for you that you might not even be aware of. Right? So that's what the surrendering and our definition of him taking care of us is sometimes very different than, what his plan might be.
Yes.
And that's where faith comes in, so yeah, but is that what you're also saying too? It sounds like that he surrendered to me and I have a plan for you and I will take care of you within that plan and you may not know it, but trust in me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the next time a flight gets delayed or you are stuck in a traffic, that brings me another thought of a very short story, right? Now a person is going for an interview, very important interview. And now he is already there in front of the building, driving around to park his car, right? So he is getting late for the time is already there for the interview. Now he is so frustrated. He's driving around the parking lot just for one spot. And then he's close to tears, and then he says, "Oh God, please help me. I don't want to be late for this interview." And suddenly he sees a car coming out of a parking spot. And he says, "Oh, never mind, forget it. I found one."
Oh, yeah,
See, this is how we overlook
yeah,
the help coming from above and the height of ego of a human being. I found one.
yeah. That's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Any questions? Last call for questions. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording.